Well, good morning and welcome back. So good to be with you guys on another Tuesday morning in a very special week of the year. So it's Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving, Matt.
Same to you.
And happy Thanksgiving to all of you. It's this is one of my favorite weeks of the year, and I think one of Matt's.
Absolutely.
We love this time of year. We're coming into that holiday season. Matt can't wait for Friday, right?
Christmas tree day.
What's his name?
Clark.
Griswold.
Yeah.
Clark Griswold. Over
I'm worse. I'm way worse. Trust me.
So Friday, Matt and his family will have on flannel shirts and have hacksaws and be out chopping down trees. Friday, we hope to be putting the little arms in our artificial tree because we don't go old school like Matt and his family that loves pine tar and sap. We will be preparing as well, but this is such a blessed, beautiful time of year, a time that I think our hearts swell like the Grinch's. You know, our hearts can grow 3 sizes in the next 40 days or whatever it is ahead of us, if we embrace our favorite virtue of gratitude. Mm-hmm. And that's what this week is all about, right? It's about the gratitude that we feel in our hearts, the gratitude, and gratitude I think is usually something that's pointed at things. Most people like to say the things they're grateful for. And we have a little saying in our family. It goes back to a second grade school project, when our first grade school project, I think at St. Louis, where one of the teachers used to make the kids write family rules. And it was a great exercise because you had to come together as a family. And, you know, depending on your creativity, it was either like a Sharpie, if it were up to me, on a piece of paper, you know, because they had to go up on a wall at school. Or if you're like my house and you have my wife, it's multicolored markers and glitter and paints and, you know, all kinds of fun stuff. And there's a rainbow somewhere on it. But it was our family rules. And as you build out your family rules, it makes you think about what's important. And for us, one of the things that was at the top of the list, well, I think our first family rule was we'll pray every day. The second one was people are more important than things. And I think as we come into this time of year, when we start placing our gratitude in the direction of others or the direction of objects, it's much more powerful to be grateful for people than it is to be for things. And I'm very grateful for the things in our life. And as Matt and I have been talking about over the past couple of weeks, it's so cool when the problems in your life, like the challenges we have, are about the abundance in our life, right, versus the need in our life. And I think for most of us, the challenges we have are challenges of abundance. You know, what are we doing with the stuff we have? Very few of us who I think tune into this show are trying to figure out where our next meal is coming from. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's maybe a place to start when we think about the gratitude of abundance that we have in our lives. But we like to focus our gratitude on people. Mm-hmm. I find that much more helpful.
Yeah, without a doubt. And obviously you're extremely inspirational. I pull it back to my mind works very actionable and based almost in research. And I just had 2 things. It ties into what we talk a lot about, journaling. And I think forgetting gratitude, it's easy now, and this is a great reminder. Thanksgiving, and I think it's easier to show gratitude Thanksgiving in the holiday season, but I think it's something that we need to make a habit for every day, and there's actually research that points back to it. Somebody that spends 5 minutes a day journaling, and as you said, it doesn't have to be in a book, it could just be typing, whatever it looks like, is 10% happier or more. At least 10% happier. Now, I don't know what 10% happier feels like.
But it's good.
It's more.
Right?
To gratitude. And then if you're anything, like Paige, my wife, sometimes has trouble sleeping. If you spend 15 minutes before bed thinking about what you're grateful for, there was an applied psychology, health, and well-being study in 2011 that said these grateful statements will make you sleep better and longer. Now, I didn't go through the whole article, but there is actual science tied to sleeping, which I think is pretty cool. So, obviously inspirational. I draw from more of the psychology and the science, but gratitude is a great thing. And how do we get more gratitude in our life daily?
Well, you have to be intentional about
Yeah.
that, right? So how do we get more gratitude? It's by saying, I'm going to find time to think of the things I'm grateful for. And we talked last week about how our thoughts become our words become our beliefs become our habits. So if we want to think more about gratitude, guess what we're going to develop the habit of? Gratitude, practicing gratitude. So if we're thinking more about the things we're grateful for, thinking more about the people we're grateful for, it's going to lead us to saying, did I tell them? Do I let them know? A friend of mine, one time, I'll never forget, and I've said this before, a friend of mine, I'll never forget the first time he looked at me and said, I appreciate you. I was like, what? What? That felt really good. And I thought, why don't I pass that gift on? Because it made me feel so good. Why wouldn't I want to pass that on? I think letting others know that you appreciate them, letting others know that you're grateful for them is the next step. So it's great to think it. It's great to make your list. It's great to journal about the things or the people that you're grateful for. But let's go another step. Let's actually put it into action and let people know. Yeah. Let's let them know that we're grateful for them. And that, I think that not only grows our heart, it helps grow theirs.
Yeah. Well, to that point, I have a quote by JFK. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them.
Amen. I always say I'm a man of action, right? And
there you go.
And I appreciate words. Words are good. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But when we coach salespeople and when I used to lead sales orgs, I would tell people and remind them, I'm more interested in your actions than I am your words. So your words of what you're going to do are great. But what are the actions of what you've done? That's what we can evaluate much more. So it's great to express gratitude to people. That is very important, to let people know how you feel about them, to let people know they're important to you if it is true. But what if you actually live that way? What if you actually demonstrate that to people? What if you actually demonstrate that gratitude by your kindness? And that's one thing is when we think of actions, we think of stuff we do, dropping off meals at somebody's house or opening doors for people. All very good, all very important. What about our words? What about the charity of our words to people and the kindness of our words? And, Matt and I were talking last week, and this has kind of infiltrated your family, right? Mm-hmm. This belief because of Paige, and Paige wanting to be more intentional in her life and wanting to bring more intentionality to Matt's life, which is what all good wives do. They tell us what we need to do. So one of the things we think about with charity, the charity of our words is this little mantra. And it's before we say something, we should be asking ourselves, is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it helpful? And you think about that, how many problems can we avoid? How many conflicts can we avoid? If we were to ask ourselves before we spoke, is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it helpful? And if you struggle with that like I do, because there's no filter here, thoughts become words very quickly in my mind, or in my processing. Thoughts become words almost instantaneously. So how do you build that filter if you don't have one? Well, it starts with reflection. Mm-hmm. And if we're not very good at asking ourselves, is it? Then we need to maybe ask ourselves, was it? And that's the way we retrain ourselves. So go through some of those conversations that we have throughout the day and ask ourselves, was that information I shared, what I said, was it kind? Was it necessary? Was it helpful? And in reflection, we'll start to build our forward-thinking screen, our forward-thinking filter.
Yeah. So. And not to add another one, because we've talked a lot about a lot of different things here, but I think, too, it's how we say something.
Oh, tone.
The tone, that comes up. You mentioned, Paige, our conversations. And when we reflect on how we interact, I think it has a lot to do with tone and how tone is interpreted at different points. And remember, words, tone, and body language make up the impact of your communication. We always talk about this study, I guess it was.
Harvard Business School.
Harvard, okay.
Words accounted for
7%
of the impact of our communication. Tone was
38.
Body language
55. Is that 100?
That's 100, buddy.
Okay.
It's that Akron math. My man got it. It's actually Seton LaSalle math. So yeah, tone, words, body language that make up 100% of our communication. Words, 7%. Tone, 38%. Body language, 55%. So the words we share have very little of the impact on our communication, but it's our tone and our body language to bring the message home that have that landing effect when the words go.
Absolutely. So as we look at that and ask ourselves, is it kind, is it necessary, is it helpful, or retroactively, was it? I think an element of that as well is, thinking about how did we say it? How did we approach it? Even if we came to the conclusion that I felt like it was helpful. I'm running through my head of some various things that I've probably said to certain people that's definitely help.
Didn't feel like it.
Yeah. What went wrong there?
Didn't feel necessary. Definitely didn't feel kind. But how we practice the charity of our words and the charity of our communication, something to think about as we go into this season, this holiday season that kicks off Thursday with this great feast of Thanksgiving. So again, we're very grateful for you. Mm-hmm. We appreciate you. It takes a lot to give us the time you give us on a weekly basis. So that's something we hope we never take lightly or take for granted. We hope that we're good stewards of your time. And we thank you for sharing that time with us. I know, Matt, I'm grateful for you.
Grateful for you as well.
Thank you. I was begging for a comeback there. And but
grateful for Steph.
Very grateful for Steph, the man
you,
behind
Steph.
the camera who makes this happen for us. And grateful for all of our clients, grateful for the incredible families that we have. Mm-hmm. And as we said, grateful for you. And we're very grateful to God for all of our blessings. And we hope you are as well. We thank you for the time. We hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving this week. We ask that you go out and think about the charity of your words, and you think about not just the what you're grateful for this week, but the who you're grateful for this week. And if you want to take those thoughts into action, as my man Matt would encourage you to do, because Matt is a man of action, let that individual that hits your heart, let that individual that you're grateful for, know what they mean to you. Because it's going to be an even greater gift to them than it is to you, and it'll help open your heart. So have a blessed Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys next week. We'll probably be a couple pounds heavier when we get back together, but I know I'm going to be happy because I love my stuffing. So have a great week, everyone. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving. God bless.